Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Own Your Essence podcast, where we get to have deep transformational conversations with some of our favorite people. I am your host, April DeMille, and today we are going to be speaking to Kristine Genovese, and she is the creator of Soul Intelligence Method. And I am very excited to hear what this is. Drum roll. Hey, lady. So I'm going to let you say your name because, again, I think the way you say it is beautiful, and I don't have any ounce of culture in me. So I'll let you do it.
Oh, that's okay. Well, I'm Kristine Genovese, sometimes known as the spiritual gangster, hence my
Nice.
last name.
Okay, got it, got it. So that's the Italian background there, the Italian roots.
Yes, the Genovese. So it
Yeah.
was actually funny. I was in New York recently,
Uh-huh.
and I was a little early for a dinner reservation, and I walked into this incredible Italian restaurant, and I told them, my name. They looked up and they went, Genovese? I go, mm-hmm. They're like, the Genovese? I said, yes. Because my great great uncle Vito was the Vito Genovese from New York City, one of the head of the five crime families. So I'm trying to bring a lot of light to the name. That's
You're
why
like, let me
we're
sweep up.
switching it up.
Yeah, let me sweep up some damage control here.
Exactly,
Yeah, no,
exactly.
that's fair. So I was just saying that you were the creator of Soul Intelligence Method, but I would love to know more about that. Like, what is that? How can you describe that? And how did you get there?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great opener. All right, yes, I'm happy to talk about the soul intelligence method. You know, um, Essentially what it is, if I talk about the method specifically, it's a book of charts and a pendulum that I use. And
Okay.
what I do is I help shift energy.
Okay.
So whether it's stuck in your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual body, wherever it's stuck, we're going to move it. And it really comes with an explanation that everybody and everything is energy.
Right.
And I think we kind of get that. When we're in elementary school, remember we're all protons, neutrons, electrons in this vibrating electromagnetic field. I think we forget it because we're physical, we're corporal.
Right.
Right? But when I talk to people about, well, they're like, well, how can you do this like remote or over a Zoom? I go, well, how am I even going to see you over a Zoom? It is energy, information, frequency, transfer. Everything
Yeah.
is energy, frequency, and vibration.
Well, it's the same in my mind. It's like, well, how are you going to pray for me if you're not right in front of me? You could pray,
Yes,
there's no
that is an
limit
energy
to,
and a frequency
yeah,
and
like
vibration.
it's
Heck yeah.
same
Yeah.
damn thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's specifically what the method is. And when I talk to people about, well, why soul intelligence or why is that name, we're all familiar with IQ, right?
Yeah.
Then we understand EQ is the emotional intelligence, but soul intelligence, SQ, is really about tapping into that inner knowing and getting quiet enough to hear the messages and hear the voices. And that's really how the soul intelligence method came to me. Um, I was a corporate turnaround specialist for most of my career,
Okay.
figuring out people, process, technology that needed to shift so the business could achieve the objective. And, I was a plane hopping, adrenal junkie, crazy woman for a good part of my life until March 12th of 2020,
Okay.
when the divine plucked me out of corporate America and said, it's time to do something different. Now, the
Okay.
circumstances around that's kind of interesting.
Are
I
you
was,
able to share that or?
oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay, cool.
me too. I'll jump in.
Yeah.
I didn't know how deep into the pool you wanted to go, so we'll
Go.
keep
Just
going.
go. Yeah.
All right. So on March 12th of 2020, it was a Thursday. That day is indelibly marked in my brain. I was actually in an oncologist's office with my now husband.
I'm
And
sorry, what? Was that husband?
yes,
That's fucking hilarious. I've never heard that.
isn't that a great term? I'm
Yeah,
like,
no, it's
totally
great.
use it. I was like, yes.
Yeah. No,
Um,
that's hilarious.
so that's where I was.
Okay.
So I get this call that my services are no longer needed. I'm like, what? I had just gotten a performance bonus. We were on year one of a planned 3-year turnaround. I was in complete shock. I'm in my early 50s going, what? So I'm in complete shock and panic. And I go, well, I don't understand what's going on. He goes, well, the CEO wants to go in a different direction. I'm like, what? Backwards? What are you talking about? Right? So I text my boss, the COO at the time. I said, hey, I just got fired. He goes, me too. I'm like, what the? Okay. So what happened was We had prepared a board deck that we were about to deliver. It was a Thursday. We're supposed to fly out and have the board meeting on Monday. And we had showed that had we been allowed to hire the people we requested in the fourth quarter, not only would we have met the first quarter of projections, we would have exceeded them.
Okay.
But the CEO kept telling us, don't hire anybody. So what he did is he fired the two of us, walked into the board meeting, presented our data, said we didn't hire enough people, and he went on a hiring spree. So,
Oh, lovely. So some
uh-huh.
shady, shady stuff there.
Yeah. So then, okay, I'll give you the moral to the story. He did get investigated by the board. He was removed from office and he put a crony in, and they summarily ran the company into the ground.
Okay.
So, karma has a way of working things out for us sometimes,
For
right?
sure.
So, what happened to Kristine? Well, Kristine was given really like a 9 month runway. I had a decent exit package, because I was, wrongfully terminated. It was just, he changed his mind. So, um, I used that time to really go within and like meditated, journaled, prayed, did a lot of those things. I mean, I had to get through the shock, right? And all the
Yeah.
fear
Yeah.
and like just understanding why this happened. And then I got that the message and the method really came through meditation. Now, I had learned how to use a book of charts and a pendulum years ago, like a different method, but it was very like um religious. It wasn't it wasn't energetic, it wasn't spiritual. It didn't resonate with me.
Okay.
And so I created my own
Yeah.
in that time period.
Which is exactly how like downloads come. Like it's like, here's the information.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so the soul intelligence method was born. But I think it's really hard, for us to really step into that next level. We get stuck in what Brandon Burchard calls our zone of excellence, right?
Hmm.
We're in this role for a long time and people pay us really well for it. We even identify with it. I loved being a corporate badass, right? That was so fun. Um, and you're paid really well and people want you in that role. So when you decide to take that next leap into your zone of genius, right, or what I call, your calling, or what you
Hmm.
feel really your purpose is in this life, when you're part of something bigger than yourself, sometimes it can make things shift in your world, which is what happened in mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a huge like pivot.
Well, I had to come out of the, spiritual closet. Nobody
Yeah.
knew I had this side to me, really.
Right. Well, and that's kind of, I mean, that's what I did in what year is that? 2017 is when I came out of the psychic closet. I'd been
Ooh.
psychic medium all my life, but I wasn't fucking gonna tell anybody that. I was trying like hell to give it back. I was like, I don't want this shit. Right. So
Mm.
like it took I was 38 when I finally was like, okay, just kidding. It's not going anywhere. So now I just have to lean into it. So yeah.
Wow. Well, it's funny. My mom didn't know I had this gift either. We were on a mother-daughter trip. I think I was in my 40s at the time. My mom's about 21 years older than me.
Okay.
And we walked into this St. Augustine is a really haunted city in Florida. It's the oldest city in Florida. So there's a lot of historic buildings and stuff. So we
Yeah.
go into one, of course, a jail, probably not our best move. And as soon being a psychic, you know what happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I feel something on my head immediately. That's how I feel an entity kind of blocks my connection to source. And my mom's like, I'm getting a headache. I got to get out of here. So we walk outside and we sit down and I see this bench. I'm like, all right, mom, how about you just sit with me and hold my hand and you just pray that the entity, whatever's on your head shifts. And then I literally lifted the energy up and off and sent it back where it needed to go. And I said to her, I go, okay, how do you feel now? She goes, I feel better. I go, well, I guess we better talk, right? She's like, what did you just do? And I hadn't fully stepped into, anything. Soul intelligence didn't arrive on the scene until my 50s. And so we talked about it, and she said when she was a little girl, she used to see like people's auras turn gray and she knew they were going to pass.
Oh, okay.
And it freaked her out, like it scared her. And
Yeah.
so she asked for her gifts to be shut down because, we were raised Catholic and, um, you know, anything along the lines of spiritual or psychic was,
Yeah.
no, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
makes you satanic. So
yes, well, and so what she did, so she went into the field of traditional medicine. She became a hospital laboratory supervisor and just kind of shut all her gifts down. And now that I'm doing the work I do in the world, she's totally open to it. I do sessions for her. She understands it. Because one of the things I've always done is to talk to people about the science behind it, like why this works. I talk about neuroplasticity and quantum physics and energy because I want people to understand it's not woo woo, right? It's
It's science.
Yes, and there's a reason. It's actually founded in a method called bioenergetics.
Hmm.
Okay, and that was documented in the 1950s by Dr. Alexander Lowen. And basically, to me, it's common sense, but here's what it says. If physically you're not doing so well, mentally and emotionally, you're probably not doing so hot either, right?
Right. Right.
Okay,
Yeah, because we're
so
all connected.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even Einstein said the future of medicine is frequency. So I'm very fortunate that I've been able to work in the field of functional medicine and integrative medicine where they're open to alternative healing methods and like using, red light therapy to help people, feel better. And so I've been able to introduce this method into wellness centers and working with doctors. As a matter of fact, the woman who wrote the foreword to my book is a triple board certified MD who's
Okay.
also on Tony Robbins' medical team.
Okay.
Um, but she practices functional medicine as well. So it's really cool, to be able to share this with people and why it works so
Hmm.
that they have a foundational understanding before we do the actual work.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, with that being said, you focus on a lot of your clientele are people that work in the healthcare, right?
Yeah, actually, the cool thing is my book is full of stories of me working with healthcare professionals. So healing the healers themselves,
Right.
right? They
Right.
have stuff too. A lot of times, as you know,
Yeah.
healers get into healing because healer heal thyself, right? They need to
Right.
do the work in order to help others heal. And
Right.
that's how a lot of the doctors I've found have gotten into functional medicine. They had something that traditional medicine couldn't cure. And the difference with functional is that they're treating the whole person holistically. So they're
Hmm.
already predisposed to treating someone mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, energetically in all ways so that they can heal. I actually partner with doctors to where I might pull the energy up and out of the body, like wherever it's causing. Because basically, if everybody and everything is energy,
Right.
what I want people to know is emotions are energy in motion.
Hmm.
And the trouble starts when that energy pools, that emotion gets stuck somewhere in our bodies, and it causes dis-ease or dysfunction or dissonance in our frequency. And that's when we go to the doctor.
Hmm.
So I really partner with them in moving that energy up and out so then they can prescribe whatever they need to prescribe, whether that's a nutraceutical or a pharmaceutical to help the body actually heal itself.
Yeah.
So it goes hand in hand, right? Once we get the energy out so you can fully recover, you need to put something good back in so it can heal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really awesome. So also you talk about, I think you talk about with the trauma healing
Hmm.
that it can be done without revisiting the pain. I would love to hear your spin on that, because I definitely have questions for you.
Okay, awesome. Well, what I mean by that is, you know, I am able to use the charts. So if you're psychic, you get messages, right?
Mhm.
And so I believe the divine comes through me when I'm doing this work. And so I use the charts to discern the information and messages that come through.
Okay.
So I'm able to figure out when something happened, who was involved, who caused the hurt or harm, what are all the energies and emotions around it. Able to kind of put, a timeline together and get really specific when I work one-on-one with someone.
Yeah.
So once I've done that, then I'm just asking for that energy to come up basically from the subconscious, which is where it's stored, right?
Right.
That's where all of our negative energies, emotions, thoughts, self-limiting beliefs, old patterns, trauma, all of that stuff. It's in the subconscious mind, which is part of the body. It's part of the physical, mental, and emotional body. It's in there. And so I'm bringing it to their conscious mind to be released. So they'll recognize it and go, oh my God, that's right. I was held up at gunpoint 10 years ago in my pharmacy.
Hmm.
Holy, that's when my health started to decline. Well, of course, because that fear, constant fear, crashed your immune system. So you were
Hmm.
open to catch everything up, right? Those kinds of things, the realization. No, I'm not saying nobody ever cries during a session, okay? Because sometimes
Well, you have to
that's
move
your
the energy through you.
exactly. That's I
Yeah.
call it holy water, right? Like you're
Hmm.
releasing, your soul is literally releasing that trauma, that pain. But they don't have to, like in therapy, right? Therapy's trying to get you to get back into that mindset, back into that situation to move the energy, but you have to relive the trauma to do that, right? Yell it out,
Yeah.
scream it out, cry it out, something really dramatic to get it to shift. And
Yeah.
this, I don't have to do that.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense because I was curious how it was that you would bring forward that information without bypassing, right? Because the dangers of bypassing. And so that was my question too, because like when you're in therapy, you do have to sit with it again. Like you have to be able to feel sit with it and like you said, revisit, unpack it, look at it in the face. And eventually it gets easier to do.
Hmm.
But energetically, if you're doing this or Reiki or
Right.
something else, then you've got another way in.
Yep. And so that's what I mean by it tends not to be, traumatic or painful. Most people feel either energized after a session, sometimes they feel tired. And I say, look, you look at it like this. You go to a
Yeah.
chiropractor for a biomechanical adjustment, you come to me for a bioenergetic adjustment. So
Yeah.
maybe
Well, and
the
either
chiropractor
way,
can move your spine when we get the energy out.
yeah, and either way, like when you're doing even Reiki or any other energetic healing, there is a purging that comes
Mm,
with the healing. So like it doesn't always feel good right away. Some
right.
people do. Some people do feel energetic and great right away. I do not tend to do that. I tend to be purging and feeling like crap for a couple days usually. So
Well, I've
yeah.
had people that have that experience. Like it
Yeah,
depends on what we're doing. And if we're doing
for
some
sure.
really deep work, right?
Yeah.
Really trauma filled work, maybe a mother wound or a father wound, something that's
Hmm.
been deep and in there a long time.
Hmm.
Yeah, you might have that, right?
Yeah.
Because you're literally moving the emotions through all your bodies up and
Right.
out.
Yeah.
So I say be gentle with yourself,
Yeah.
have
It just
water.
depends on how hard you get shook. Like shake it
That
up.
is true.
Let's
That
see.
is true.
Let's see how much you purge after this. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what would I have a question written down for you. I was going to ask you when you've been working with different clients, has there been like um a transformation that you thought was just like super memorable, like one of the most impactful ones?
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure there's so many, but like,
I mean, truly, like
yeah.
okay. So I have a ton of stories in my book
Okay.
of transformations. I'll just tell
Okay.
you about one that's not in the book that happened recently, which is kind of wild. And since you're psychic and open to all this stuff, I'll give you the backstory.
Love
So,
it.
so there was this older gentleman who his wife actually saw me on a summit, and she reached out and said, "Hey, I would really love it if you could help my husband." And I said, okay. And she goes, look, he told me, she told me they've tried everything. Um, you know, uh, Traditional medicine, functional medicine, everything in between, and nothing has worked. He still has this tremendous pain in his stomach and in his chest, thoracic area. And I said, well, we can certainly try. And so I set up an initial set of sessions because when you're dealing with something that's been locked in for a long time, this gentleman's in his 70s. Okay. So it's been around a while. Um, I knew we were going to have to do, some deep work. Regardless, he showed up to the first Zoom and he had like oxygen in his nose. I could see he's got labored breathing. So this is someone that's really in distress, right? So I did the session. By the end of the first session, he was breathing normally. He took the oxygen out. His face had brightened. But what we discovered, not just that is the incredible outcome after one session, but what we had discovered is that he was holding on to energy that wasn't even his in his stomach. He had about 80 people he was holding energy for. And I looked up what happened. I said, were you in the service? He said, yes, I was in the Vietnam War. I said, I said, a company of men you were responsible for. He said, yes, I did. And I said, it was 80 people. He goes, yes, it was. And so he had been holding on to the guilt and the trauma of that event in and it embedded in his stomach, which is interesting because that's our solar plexus chakra, which is really, all health begins and ends in the gut. If you talk to Hippocrates, right? 2000 years ago, he said that. But basically, that's because that's where our self esteem is, right? How we show up in the world, our relationship with self and to other. So, of course, that's where he had it. So I was able to share that with him and he was blown away. There was other things that came up too. He had guilt from a marriage that didn't work out and other things that were kind of keeping him in, stuck. But it didn't take just one session. Um, at at the end of that, I said, "Look, I can keep working with you because you've, been on this earth this time around at least 70 some odd years, right? But I really would like to introduce you to a functional medicine doctor. Happen to be having dinner with him and his wife tonight. They're super cool people. I introduced them, and so he started working with him in the physical. And what he discovered was all of the drugs that this man had been given for depression and anxiety had um, produced too much serotonin. And serotonin is our happy hormone, that's produced in the gut.
Hmm.
And what happens in traditional medicine is they titrate you up. They give you more if you're
Hmm.
in discomfort because your body gets used to it, right? And you need more.
Right.
What happened is it started to produce so much that it caused him this tremendous pain that traditional medicine had said was a phantom pain. So the doctor was able to prescribe something that has GABA in it,
Okay.
from a nutraceutical company. And I can tell you he's doing incredible right now, between all the energy work that he's received, and then taking what the body needs in the physical to heal.
Yeah.
So really, really proud. And that's just like in the last month. So
Yeah.
that was super cool.
No, that is really cool. And I can kind of relate to his story a little bit because my youngest daughter died in 2012.
Oh,
And when that happened, that's when I started to have um, massive physical ailments that
mm.
began in my stomach, right in my womb area, right?
Oh,
Which
I've
I
got
mean,
chills.
yeah, it makes sense, right? Like, and so now I deal with something called mast cell,
Yes, so
right?
mhm,
But it's only
there.
digestively. Yes. I don't have it environmentally. I don't have it like I'm not sensitive to scents and all the things like, or things that go on my skin. But if I swallow something, I go anaphylactic immediately. So I am still, what is this, 2025? I am still trying to unpack um, the nature of that. I mean, I already know where it's from,
Hmm.
but trying to allow my body to reset has been a nightmare because it's been like really, really bad for 8 years now.
Mm,
Um, it took a few years. It kind of ramped up after she died, like
mm,
slowly. And then I want to say it probably reached its peak probably around 2018, 19. And since then, it's just been a nightmare.
wow.
Yeah. But it makes sense, right? Like that's
Mhm.
where I got hit the hardest with when you lose a baby right there in that womb area and it just destroyed me.
Mm,
Yeah.
wow.
So I can understand.
Yeah.
I can kind of relate to that story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say, just for everybody listening too, when we think about the reason why functional medicine doctors usually start with the gut, and why Hippocrates said that 2000 years ago, is it's our core, right? It's our core
Right.
center of who we are.
Right.
And it's not only the relationship to yourself, but the relationship to others. But when you think about what sits in the digestive system, what are you swallowing? What are you pushing down? What are you holding, right? Even just thinking about those things. But our stomach, as an organ, stores food or processes food. It
Hmm.
also stores emotions or processes emotions or doesn't.
Hmm.
And so that's one of the reasons why everything tends to go wonky, in
Yeah.
particular in the gut.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Makes sense to me.
Well, maybe we should partner up, lady. Maybe I'll have to hook you up with my posse of functional medicine docs to see if there's
Yeah.
anything else they could do to support you.
So we'll see. I've kind of given up on the whole doctors right now. I'm trying to just see what my body will do naturally and honoring that. So it might be something I can revisit soon. We'll see.
Yeah, it's
Um,
all naturopathic, so it's
right.
all,
Well,
nutraceutical.
I think the problem I'm having is whether it's natural or not, I still can't digest anything. It wouldn't matter. Like I can only eat the same 7 foods that I've been eating for years, and if I introduce anything outside of that, my body tries to kill me. I can
Wow.
only drink one kind of water. So I can't digest. If anybody's trying to throw meds at me or whatever, good fucking luck, dude. I can't do it. So have fun with that. Yeah.
That's
So
wild.
so right now I'm having to rely on just the emotional energetic part of the healing because there's not much that can be done yet. My
Well,
body's my
I
body's
may be able
like,
to help you there too. You never know. You
yeah.
never know.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so when you practice these sessions, you said you use the charts and the pendulums. Are there any other modalities that you incorporate? Like, do you do like hypnosis or any other, is there anything else, or is this solely your soul intelligent method?
It's really the soul intelligence method. Now, I do what I would say set up a sacred space,
Okay.
right? Because once energy is created, it can't be destroyed. It's got to go somewhere. It has to be
Right.
transformed. That's a scientific law. So I want to make sure when it goes somewhere that it goes back to the divine or gets transmuted into love and light or something else so that it doesn't land on another person, place, thing, and then it goes where it needs to. So I'll
Yeah.
set up a sacred space and then I will say a prayer and get really connected to the divine and any of the unseen beings that people work with, right? Excuse me. We all have guides and they're angels and other beings that tend to support us, maybe past relatives. And so I want to make sure that we're both surrounded by those people or entities when we're doing the work. So other than that, no, I say a prayer and then I ask to shift what needs to shift for their best and highest good, unless I'm aware of a specific issue that we're working on.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's fair. Um, So what's next? I mean, you sound like you're doing all these really cool things. Are you able to kind of share, like, if you have any other upcoming projects or things that you're looking into?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things that is really important to me is to teach other people the method. I
Hmm.
want more healers to use this method. I want more coaches to use this method. I would
Yeah.
love to see this in wellness centers across the country, more medical people, naturopathic people using it. So I'm really committed to that. So I do have an online course that's evergreen that people can take at any time, but I'm doing something a little different.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly when this episode will air, but I'm doing the
Tell
first
you.
one. What?
I'll actually tell you.
Oh,
I can tell
okay.
you right now.
Awesome.
It will air on January 4th.
Okay. All right. Super
Yeah.
cool.
You'll be the first episode in season 2.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm on the cover of Best Holistic Life magazine in January too. That's super cool.
Awesome.
All right. And I'm really called to teach other people the method. And what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm actually doing during the holidays, I'm going to be teaching a what I call an SQ and U course, like a 2-day workshop with a reduced amount of charts to give people just a taste of the method so that they could start
Okay.
working on themselves
Yeah.
and then decide if they want to do the full-on course. So I'm sure I will hold additional opportunities in January for people to join in on that. But if they're interested, they can go to my website, which is soulintelligencemethod.com to
Yeah.
find me there.
Okay.
I do have a book that's available on Amazon, Audible, Kindle, the whole show. It's called Healing Through Soul Intelligence.
Okay.
And I've had people tell me when they listen to the Audible version that it feels like they're getting a healing, which is pretty cool.
That is
I, re
cool.
I recorded it myself out in LA, which was fun. And I'm working on my second book that I'm going to release in 2026, which is called A Daily Dose of Soul Intelligence, and it's designed to be a daily reader.
Okay.
So it'll have, like a quote, a soul intelligence story, a journal prompt, and an inspired action for every day of the year that I hope to bring out next year as well.
Okay. So it's kind of like book workbook.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So like I said, I'm really committed to helping people, shift their energy any which way possible.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. So, what is there a healing myth that you would love to retire forever?
A healing myth
Yeah.
that you have to go to someone to heal yourself. I think we all have the power to heal ourselves, and just keeping in mind like self-care is not selfish, it's sacred. And when
Hmm.
you heal yourself, you're not only helping to heal people that you know or people that you interact with or that are around you, but it's like the butterfly effect, if a butterfly like changes its flight pattern unexpectedly on one side of the world, it can actually influence a tsunami on the other side of the world. And that's because we're all connected. And we don't
Right.
feel that way. We feel like we're disparate when we're not. And so I try and remind people that when you choose to do the work on yourself, you're really helping to impact the collective and everybody.
Right.
So it's pretty holy work.
It is. And it's like it's the same as like remembering that we are all products of our environment. And so if you're doing the inner work and you're healing your world, then it's the ripple effect.
I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. That's super awesome. So, is there anything that you would like to share with our listeners or any last words or anything else that we didn't go over?
Well, I just really appreciate the opportunity to be here and to, spend time in your energy, which is very fun. I'm really looking forward to being on a number of different stages next year, speaking at a variety of different conferences. So I hope I get to connect with your audience. If people are looking to learn more about soul intelligence, learning the method, or want to even find my book or anything like that, they can go to soulintelligencemethod.com.
Perfect. And I will have like that information in the notes section too, but I love that you're able to just offer like the fastest way to find you.
Absolutely. And I'm on all the things, right? All the
Yeah.
socials as necessary.
You're like, it's all there. It's all in the
Yeah,
works. Yeah. Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time and your energy. You're absolutely awesome. Like I love your fire. You've got fire, girl. You've got fire.
Yes. Yes. I am a Cancer sun sign, but everything else is Aries. All of
There
it.
you
You
go.
are so right on.
Yeah, you've got fire. It's in there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna stop it here if you just want to help me say goodbye to our audience. Bye, you guys.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.